How often do you get something intuitive where you know this situation's about to go south? You know you shouldn't do this, whatever it is that you're about to do, and you feel that intrinsically inside. You feel that deeply inside. But what do? You don't want to hear that because this is something you actually want to do. Well, your conscious and your ego wants to do that. So you push it aside and then you go and do that thing and then you're like, uh-oh, and when it goes south. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mystic Temple Spirituality for a New Age. I'm Monica Bay, also known as the Divine Mother, and I am here to bring you truth. All right, so first of all, before we get started with today's Divinity session, I just want to say how excited I am because this past week, a couple of days ago, according to the day that I'm filming this, a couple of days ago, we had our very first Pathways to Divine Consciousness and Fulfillment session. It was absolutely amazing. Everyone was mind blown. They got so many great insights from that, just that one session. It was amazing. And we're just getting started, okay? What we did was everyone received their divine resonance type, which tells you where you are on your spiritual journey, where you are in the journey of your own life's fulfillment, and what you need to do to keep progressing, and the different levels that you need to go. So that's the baseline of what we're doing, and then we're going to be using a lot of things. So if you have not gotten into the program yet, it is not too late. You can still jump in. We've got replays available so you can catch up with where we are. And so, yes, you can go to mysticuniversity.net, the link below, and be able to sign up for the program. We are going to be having this biweekly, so we're going to do another one in a couple weeks and so on and so forth. And we are taking everyone on a journey from 3D consciousness to 10D consciousness while also creating a more fulfilling and happy life. So this is going to be amazing. I'm excited. It already is amazing. I'm super excited about it, and everyone else is excited about it. So I thank all of you for your feedback and everything else regarding this past session. And people's minds and hearts were really, really open once they discovered their dynamic resonance type. So awesome. All right, now this is Divinity session number 26. We're just going and going and going. So today we have a passage for you guys from the book of Rashida, and it is deep and it is long, and it is as follows. Nothing but silence can deafen the earth and somehow seem small. It is nothing but our love that gives us life, and light that gives us love. It is truth that enters the consciousness, so often ignored and thrown into the abyss, substituted by self-righteousness and ill intent. Selfish deeds are many. It is not what we do together that counts. It is what we do in the silence of solitary that gives us the edge upon which the solar system moves, about us and within us. Okay, now that was a lot, but of course we're going to break all of that down for you. So the first sentence, which is probably my favorite sentence in this passage, is nothing but silence can deafen the earth and seem small. So I love this passage. So what it's saying is nothing but silence can deafen the earth. So think about the word deafen for a second. Deafening is really blocking out. When you deafen something, you're blocking out the sound. So you're blocking out the sound, and that is a vibration, right? So what they're talking about here, nothing but silence can deafen the earth. What is the earth? Okay, the earth is this illusionary world that we're living in, this physical plane of existence that we are in right now. Nothing but silence can deafen that. So what this is really saying is that silence is the key to not be so wrapped up in this physical plane, in this physical world, in the things that don't matter that we get caught up with in our lives, right? And silence is the cure for that. Nothing but silence can deafen the earth and still seem small. So why is it seeming small? Because silence is a small thing. Silence is a simple and easy thing, yet it is something that most of us lack. Most of human beings have a hard time being by themselves, have a hard time being in silence, have a hard time allowing themselves to just be. That is silence. Silence is devoid of noise. What is noise energetically? Energetic noise is distraction. Energetic noise is negativity, right? Nothing but silence can deafen that. So what they're really saying just in this one sentence is talking about our need for silence in order to evolve, our need for introspection in order to elevate. And we can't do that until we get into silence, until we start to look at ourselves, until we start to grow. So just this sentence, and really this entire passage, which we're going to get into the rest, but just this sentence is really saying worlds, and it's a whole word right there, okay? It's saying worlds and worlds of information about what we need to do in order to not be overtaken by the world that we're living in. And we talked a lot before about suffering, about silence, about mindfulness, all of those things. But this is really taking it up a notch, talking about you can deafen the earth, you can deafen the negative parts of this reality that really affect us and prevent us from being able to elevate and grow. If we're not allowed to be in silence, if we don't allow ourselves to be in silence, and really allow ourselves to receive that divinity, that divine energy, that divine guidance, okay, then we can't really elevate. We're stuck in this world. The world is not deafened. It's loud and proud and in our faces, and we are stuck in it. And while we are in this world in duality, and of course we are supposed to be experiencing the human experience, at the same time we are supposed to be elevating. However, in order to elevate, we have to not succumb to the negative aspects of this experience, the challenges of this experience that take us away from that evolution. So, silence, nothing but silence, can deafen the earth and still seem small. And let's go a step further. Why silence? Because silence is the revealer of truth. Silence is the revealer of your truth. Understand that. When you go into silence, and silence is meditation, silence is introspection, silence is anything that is deafening all of the negativity, all of the distractions that we have. And what makes a distraction? It's something that doesn't actually matter. That's what a distraction is. It's something that doesn't actually matter that we are actually focused on and paying attention to. And that's a myriad of things in your life. And remember, I give 2 questions that you need to ask yourself whenever you are stressing out about something or super, super focused on something, or especially putting anything that's important like your spiritual evolution to the side for, right? Is this going to matter in 10 years? Usually the answer is no. And is this something you're going to be thinking about on your deathbed? Usually the answer is no. That tells you this doesn't actually matter. Even though it seems like it matters in the moment, it doesn't actually matter. So why does silence deafen the earth? Why does silence deafen these distractions and this negativity, right? We're talking about silence being the revealer of truth and you being able to see the truth within you. What is that truth? Your divinity. Really being able to have that heightened awareness, really being able to raise those levels of consciousness. If you don't understand who you are, if you don't really understand that on a deep level, not just me telling you who you are, and you're like, okay, that sounds great, but really, really understanding that, then you can't increase your levels of consciousness. You can't start to ascend while still on this earth. You can't do that because you are stuck in this physical plane. And there was a passage previously that talks about the ills of the worldly plane. And this is what they're talking about, deafening those ills, and allowing yourself to prosper and grow in strength. And also, what the inner truth is about your own potential, your own power, who you really are in this world, which is what we've been talking about this whole time, who you actually are, a divine being of light who is limitless. Okay? Understand that. And why does it say silence can deafen the earth and somehow seem small? Because it is huge. Because they're referring to the fact that silence is such a massive, massive thing, yet it's small. It seems like, okay, be silent. But the reality is, what else can deafen the earth? Nothing else. Nothing else to us as human beings here on this earth. Nothing else can deafen that other than silence. So it is huge in the aspect of just that. So then it says, it is nothing but our love that gives us life, and light that gives us love. What they're referring to is the powerful force of love in this universe and what makes us grow strongly here. The act of love, the energy of love, the vibration of love is who we actually are. That is our divine light. It is love itself. So in this passage, they're talking about love and love being what gives us life. Now, I'm going to use an analogy because some of you may have heard about this before. It's pretty common knowledge, but some of you may not have heard about it. But they've done tests, and who they are scientists, right? There's been tests and studies that have been done on plants, and this is just an example. For instance, if you give a plant love every day, you will notice it growing strongly and powerfully because plants are also living beings. They also have souls. They also have energy, and they respond to our energy. So when we give a plant love every day, it grows. And they've done studies on this. And if you give a plant hate and negativity every day, it will dwindle and be stunted. Okay? So in that analogy and in that example, you can see how love brings life and the opposite of love brings death or weak life. Right? So we are like these plants. We need love in order to grow, in order to live. It is our love, our love. Notice that it says our love. It is our love. That is individual and collectively. It is our love that gives us life and light that gives us love. Our light is our divinity inside of us. That light is what breeds love and spreading that love in the universe, spreading that love in this world, okay, brings more life. And it's important to note that it's through the power of silence that you can then cultivate that energy that's already within you in order to exude that energy out and to allow that to infiltrate and really integrate within your entire energy system. This brings life, this brings health, this brings prosperity, this brings happiness, this brings less suffering, all the things opposite of love, right? Anything that's opposite of love brings exactly that vibration. It's going to bring chaos. It's going to bring negativity into your life, into this world. And the more people that contain this energy, the more people that sink in and allow this energy to be loud instead of deafened, okay, the more that energy is what is proliferating through this world, which is exactly where we are right now. And this is why the more we rise as a collective, we really start to change the vibration of this world. We really start to create more love, and it is love that gives us life, okay? And our light within that gives us love. And then they go on to talk about how truth enters our consciousness. It says it is truth that enters our consciousness, but we so often throw it into the abyss. We ignore it and we throw it into the abyss. And this is again why the beginning of this passage talks about how important silence is. When you are silent, when you allow yourself to really, really see yourself, when you allow yourself to go within, that is when you actually start to see your own inner truth. But not only your inner truth, you see the truth of the world and your interconnectedness with the world. And that is the ultimate truth. Okay, the ultimate truth is who you actually are, that divine being, and that universal oneness that we're all connected to. Once you start to realize that, you can start to elevate, but you can't do that unless you allow yourself to be silent. And why do we throw the truth into the abyss? Because we don't like it. How often do you get something intuitive where you know this situation's about to go south? You know you shouldn't do this, whatever it is that you're about to do, and you feel that intrinsically inside. You feel that deeply inside. But what do? You don't want to hear that because this is something you actually want to do. Well, your conscious and your ego wants to do that. So you push it aside and then you go and do that thing and then you're like, uh-oh, and when it goes south, then you find yourself wishing that you listened to that intuition, but it's too late. But then what do? You keep repeating that cycle over and over again, and you keep not listening to your intuition. And hindsight is 2020. Yeah, you can look after the fact and say, "Oh yeah, I should have listened to that intuition." But if you don't do anything about it to make a change, you're going to keep repeating that cycle, and that's exactly what most of you do. That's what most people do, is they continue to repeat that cycle, not listening to their intuition. And again, that intuition, your intuition comes from a deeper place. It comes from your soul. It comes from your guiding forces. It comes from your higher self. It comes from your divine self. Okay, that is what your intuition is. It's not just a thought that pops into your mind randomly. Okay, your intuition is actually a tool that is used to help guide you. And when you do not listen to that tool, you are destroying your own guidance. You are destroying the tools that you were put on this earth with as you're going through this life. You are ignoring your own messages to yourself. You are ignoring your warnings and you are creating more suffering for yourself. And why do we tend to ignore our intuition all the time? Usually because we're distracted. If we were actually in silence, again, this is why this passage starts with that. If we were in silence, when we hear that intuitive message, we would get a lot more than just the thought. We would get all the information with it because we're in silence and we're tuned in and we're aware, right? If we're distracted and we're focused over here, we're focused over there, we're focused over there, and we never take time to be in that silence, we never get the full message. We only get a little blip of information and we ignore it and then we move on. And then we regret it later. And right after it says we throw that into the abyss, our intuition, we throw our truth into the abyss because we may not like to face our truth. We may not like to face our shadows. We may not like to face ourselves. We'd rather ignorance over truth, which is the opposite of what you need in order to elevate in this world. Understand that. Yes, ignorance can be bliss, but that is not growth. That does not lead you to where you want to be. That leads you to a hamster wheel. That leads you to repeating patterns in your life. It is important that you're able to face your truth with courage and strength, knowing that once you face that truth, it shouldn't be a big thing. It shouldn't be a hard thing. It shouldn't be a scary thing because once you face that truth, even if you don't like it, now you've seen the truth. Now you can actually take action to change it because you are in control. You are in control. Understand that. Always remember that you are in control. You have the power to shape your reality inside and outside. So then it talks about you throwing that into the abyss and then replacing that, substituting that with self righteousness and ill intent. And this is because we are too focused on the things that don't matter in this world, the things that are going to really feed our ego, and the things that are superficial, things are fleeting, things that are short term pleasures. When we are focused on those things, we start to get easily into self-righteousness. We start to easily get into ill intent and breeding negative energy, the opposite of love. That's not that's not what we're breeding when we're in those types of energies. We're not breeding love. We are stuck in the ills of this worldly plane, and that is where we want to get out of. And that is where the book of Rashida is bringing us. And then towards the end of this passage, it really talks about the silence of solitary. I love this sentence too, actually. The silence of solitary. It says it is the silence of solitary that gives the edge upon which the solar system moves. So understand what they're saying is your silence in your own solitary. So this is you by yourself, okay? Your own individual journey is important and affects the whole entire solar system, the whole entire universe. So we talked before in a few divinity sessions ago about how interconnected we are and how everything that's going on in our lives doesn't just affect us. It's a domino effect that creates ripples throughout the entire universe. And so this is really driving that home again, is that it creates the edge upon which the solar system moves. So when we are doing what we're supposed to do or not doing what we're supposed to do, we are affecting the rest of the universe. Understand that this is a symbiotic energy. This is a symbiotic effect because why? Because we are divine and there is oneness, and nothing can exist independently without affecting the other things. So your journey is so important, okay? Your individual journey, your solitary journey is so important, as well as our collective journey. But your solitary journey is so important that it can affect the entire world. It can affect the energy of the entire universe, the entire solar system. And this is why Mystic Temple is here to raise this vibration. And this is why we implore you individually to start working on your spiritual journey. And if you have been listening to me and you are coming on this journey with me and you are moving forward, I want to congratulate you on that, but I also want to encourage you to continue and dive even deeper because as we start to elevate this vibration and as we start to move and create this new world that we're moving in, we have the power to do that collectively, but also individually. What we're talking about here is a macrocosm and a microcosm. So our individual solitary lives, yes, but also the greater good and really paying attention to that greater good as we move through our life. And our individual journeys affect the harmony and balance of the entire cosmos. So what I want you to walk away with is the remembrance that everything you do affects the entire universe. Everything that's going on in your individual life and what you're focusing on and not focusing on, your spiritual journey affects the rest of the world. It is not only isolated to just you. So I need you to understand that, and I need you to actually commit to your spiritual path. I need you to commit even more. Okay? We're gonna ante it up a little bit. I need you to commit even more to your spiritual path. I need you to commit even more to silence, because in this passage it really explains how important silence is again. So understanding how important it is, you should be doing it every day. Okay? So if you are someone who always has to have music on, if you are someone who can't be alone, if you are someone who always has to have the TV on or social media or whatever, and you never sit with yourself, you are missing out. You are missing out on your inner truth. You are missing out on your spiritual growth. You are missing out on the effects that you can have in this world, that the effects that you can have in the entire cosmos. So what I want you to do is start focusing on that silence. So I'll give you some very easy practical tips. I always talk to you guys about meditation. I love meditation. It is great, okay? So you can meditate, okay? Meditate, also journaling is a great way to be in that silence and introspection and be able to receive that inner truth. Shamanic journeying, always love that. Going deeper within. If you are more advanced, doing some trance work, that's awesome as well. Doing any kind of channeling, that's awesome as well. And any kind of also mediumship work within yourself and with your spirit guides. So these are different ways on different levels based on where you are on your journey and what your capabilities are of what you can do. And I need you to actually do those things though, okay? I need you to commit to that. Commit to your spiritual journey and commit to actually growing. And I also want you to reflect on how you bring love and light into your life every day. How do you cultivate love and light into your life? And we recognize that life, I guess we have that duality. Life is not all love and light, right? Not all the time. However, how are you actually cultivating this in your life and intentionally bringing that into your energy system, bringing that into your aura, bringing that into your environment, and bringing that into your life? How are you doing that? I want you to think about those things. And if you can't answer that question, I need you to think of how you can start doing that, and start to actually write those things down and start to actually implement that. Because remember, knowledge without action is pointless. We need action and we need application. So this is what I want you to start doing immediately and start really thinking about, and just start infusing more love into your life, more love into others, because it is love that gives us life and our light that gives us love. You can generate that energy yourself. You have that within you. You are love. You are that vibration. So remember that everything that we do, we want to always be in harmony. We want to always be in harmony with the universe, with ourselves, and with our paths. So also, I want you to ask yourself the question, am I in alignment with my path? Am I in harmony with my path? Am I in harmony with the universe? Because if you have a bunch of negativity, if you are feeding that negativity with your own attention, because remember, negativity is also can be a very powerful thought form that you can then feed with more attention to that thought form. And that's a longer session to just talk about that. Go to Mystic University to learn more about that. But but you can feed into that. So what are you feeding? What are you watering? What are you nurturing in your life? And you need to be nurturing more love and light into your life, and more silence, okay? Because only silence can deafen the earth. And now, with that, I'm going to now speak love, life, and inner growth in all of you right now using the divine language. Okay. Osha o temp, Osha o temp, Osha o temp. Vetusos, Osha o temp, Vetusos. Teosha, Teosha o temp, Teosha o temp, Teosha o temp, Bicosa, 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 Shashentes, Bicosa, Shashentes, Bicosa, Shashentes, Bicosa, Vetusos, Shashentes, Bicosa, Vetusos, Osha o temp, Destu, Olo, Oxo, Eshna Popo Eshna Sha, Eshna Popo Eshna Sha, Eshna Popo Eshna Sha, Eshna Popo Eshna Sha. And now I will end with a prayer in the divine language, which essentially means peace be unto you. Zor Kumti. And I'll see you next time. In the silence of my mind, I find solace. Deep breaths and closed eyes, pure and honest. Soothing melodies that in our soul. Into a realm unknown where I'm whole.
center. Breathing deeply, feel the rhythm. Oh yeah. Let your thoughts drift away like a calm river. Embrace the stillness, let it encompass you. Oh yeah. In the silence, find your peace. Let your mind release. Let the worries cease. In the silence.